We are live in the Book of Faces. Hello, people. I hopefully you guys don't hear my son jumping because he's right above me, and that's all I hear is up, playing his video game. Let me.
No, I don't hear it well.
Hello. The recording studio. I'm like, who am I gonna say hello to? But Zoom recording. We are here on Wednesday. Heal the Unicorn podcast. My brain is like in the to do task function, just listing things. My son is jumping. If you hear things, I apologize. I'm also excited that they're going back to school next Monday because masks are being removed, so they're allowed to go and and breathe the air that is given. So to me, that was the only thing that was holding me back for sending my kids back to school. And I am honestly, we're going to be talking about clarity, right? Clarity on how when you're feeling disconnected with your body and mind and in need of a pause, and clarity around that. So I'm just going to get right in there and share one of my clarities with my kids going to school and feeling disconnected since it, like the first day I was happy and excited, everyone was, and then afterwards I started finding myself feeling disconnected. There are many other things, but right now we'll focus on one thing. And I came to to a point of realization which clarified my feelings of what I've been feeling with my kids going to school. Um, grieving a loss, even though it's like, oh, you didn't lose them, they're still there. Yes, but it's a different kind of a loss. It's a loss of them always being here, me being with them 24/7, and having access to them and them having access to me, knowing that they're here safe. There's a lot to it as a caregiver, as a mother, as a father, that when they go to the next stage, because for them the next stage is to go back to school. I can't hold them hostage at home forever. Like,
Right.
I gotta let them go, right? So the next stage is them to go to school, and I am grieving that loss before I even go through it. So next week is going to be even more fun, but I'm already at least prepared for it, and I have been preparing, doing my rituals, my routines that help me with balancing myself, right? Because when we feel disconnected, really what we're talking about is feeling unbalanced, feeling disoriented, feeling like it just reminds me of that toy called Top, where you push it down and then
Oh,
let it go and it starts spinning,
yeah.
and then it stops and it's like trying to find its balance. So that's what it feels like. We go for a spin, whether it's, there's a lot of things that can really get us going, but I want to hear your intro to this topic today, Bethany, because you're the one that came up with this topic. So let's hear, what is it that brought you to the creation of this topic today?
All right. Well, hello everyone. Bethany here. Hi.
Party in the house.
So clarity. So really where this topic came from. So clarity is one of my values. It's something I am always going for. I am searching for, to get inner clarity, especially on the times where I'm feeling disconnected and I need that little recalibration period. And so that becoming with clarity, but also, so beginning of the month, we talked about intuition. Last week, we talked about awareness. Now we're on to clarity. These all three things go together. It's like a cycle. And so what you're getting your intuition in the beginning. you're getting those hits that, okay, this is something I want to change, this is what's going to help me. You get your tools, your medicines, and then it's going into that awareness of like actually what's going on, asking yourself those questions of what do I need? Where am I at? How am I feeling? And then you go into the clarity part of things where you're getting the answers to your questions. You're getting your clear feedback. You're addressing the emotional and physical needs. You're getting in touch with your mind and body. Intuition and awareness is right there. So with all these three things, they go together. And so when I mention a cycle, so spoiler alert for next week, it's wisdom. But in this cycle, it's intuition. You have your intuition, you go into awareness, you go into clarity, and then you get that wisdom. And it's an ongoing cycle for spiritual awakening, for personal growth and development. But the clarity is important to give you those insightful hits, that thing to catapult you into feeling balanced. Because a lot of the times, like you're saying, when you're imbalanced, you feel like that toy where you're wobbly and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know which direction to go right now. Well, this is that moment to step into your intuition, step into your inner awareness, your mind, your body, and then find the answers. And I think the best way to find clarity is to journal, meditate, and ask yourself the self-assessment questions. Where am I at? What do I need? Even how am I feeling? What's going on? Like whatever question is going to help you figure out the clarity. And also for different situations, you're going to have different clarity questions. Like, let's say you want to figure out, like, what's my purpose? Well, you got to figure out what you want, what you like, what makes your heart sing, as I like to call it, what your true authentic self is. And that takes intuition, awareness, and clarity. So on all these paths of life, on this journey of life, we are acting with intuition, awareness, clarity, and wisdom, whether we know it or not. It's like we said in the beginning, all of these are gifts that we're naturally born with, and we just have to in tune and go within, dig deep, find our answers. Like clarity is also being transparent and purifying, so cleansing to find that balance. I used this example last week with my awareness. So I took that Ayurveda course and I got that the awareness of my old eating patterns that weren't serving me anymore. And so I was able to use that awareness to figure out, to get my clarity, to get my answer on what's going to help me and I also got the clarity on why it was not going away when I was like working on it and I felt like it would go away, but then it would rear its head up again. And I'm just like, well, what am I repressing out of this? And it's the pattern, because we all live in patterns. Like everyone lives in a pattern. Like there's going to be, a pattern of your rituals, like of your routines, what your mind goes through, your mindset. And a lot of the times in the past, when I'd be in a disconnect, I would skip the clarity part in a way by not fully going down deep. Like I would get a little answer and be like, okay, that's it, that is it. And this journey of my binge eating, the addiction I have to it, I really feel like now I have that clarity of why, because it was a pattern. And I think that's where a lot of like the stuff we want to change comes from, is a pattern. We do a certain way. Let's say, okay, we are thinking negatively. Well, what are you doing on a regular basis that's having your mind be in that pattern? And can you change and reframe it? So anyways, with my new patterns, now it's been about 2 weeks and I feel phenomenal because I brought the intuition in, I brought the awareness, and now I have the clarity. And then I'm moving on to the last one, which we'll talk more about next week. But yeah, it's been really transformative because like it's like that huge like aha moment where I've had like little like bits of it throughout the way, but this was like a holy woo, like a big explosion, like, girl, this is it. Like, this is what you've been searching for. And it took me a long time to find it. But at the same time, I had to go rewire other patterns that I had to be able to rewire this pattern of that binge eating addiction that I had. Because I had to first focus on the mind. I had to declutter, get out of the disconnect to be able to find the answers. Because when you are feeling imbalanced, answers are going to be really hard to come in because you're not at that state of mind to accept the answer. So that's why, when you're in disconnect, and I brought the whole pause factor in, because that's what you're doing when you're finding clarity. You're pausing, you're breathing, you're reflecting. You're taking that minute to find your clarity, to find your answers that only you have. And really, like, intuition, awareness, and clarity, only you can find your intuition, your awareness, and your clarity. It's different for everyone. We may have similar things that that we're like, oh, wow, I feel you. Like, that's something similar I'm going through, but it's never going to be exactly the same. And that's what I love about our individual journeys as well, and we can learn so much from each other with all of our different clarity hits and like what we've become aware of, and we can plant those seeds in people to help others with their patterns that they want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're fine.
I had this one thought just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
That one of the things that I realized a really, really long time ago, and at some point, I don't know when, because to me, it's already part of my programming.
Right.
It is part of my pattern. It is a habit for me, right? So patterns, habit, programming, however we want to call it, they are connected. They're not the same thing, but they are connected. So here's what it is. Take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Everything. Because if something happened this way, and I had part of that, because of the only reason why I would even be aware of something happening, because it's already in my my experience. And I'm part of that experience of whatever is happening. So if I'm part of that experience, that means I had a hand in it one way or another. And that if I showed up, yes, I know you agree. So if I showed up in a different way, then I would have had a different result. Right. And there are the options of how to show up or how to do something or deal with something. The options are unlimited because, right? My cat is like staring and he's like, yeah, I like what you're saying. Yeah, the options are unlimited. I know. I can find different ways how to get a treat out of you, woman. And I get it.
Right. And a treat of being pet, because that's all he wants is to just be pet.
That too. So
that's his clarity. He's like, see, this is what I need.
Yeah. And also another realization that I wanted to share, and this is my own realization, and I got a reminder as I was just listening to you, Bethany, is that reminding yourself that even the body and the mind, they need rest. And especially after having done some growing, right? And how can you tell if you've done something that is growing? Well, if you go back over the past week and think of all the tiny little things and big things that you did that you were even slightly uncomfortable doing, girl, you grew.
Yes, and that's exactly how I felt this on Sunday. I did not feel good. I'm like, man, I'm coming down with something. And it really was just me working through the old pattern and establishing the new pattern. And what you're saying, it was that reminder, rest and relax. I'm really happy you brought that up because, oh, man, it's so important about the whole intuition, awareness, and clarity. kind of cycle of things, you got to do that rest.
Yeah. And then on top of it, those that are prone to anxiety, when you misread the signals of the body, like myself, that is something that's a pattern, that's a habit for me. That's a programming that I continue to work through. And the more I do it, the less it shows up. Where if my body is feeling a certain way for after exercising or not eating enough, or waking up really hungry, or exercising too much, you know what I mean, or having gone through some growth, that I can find myself feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit or a lot, and pausing and thinking and getting clear on what is exactly happening in this moment, what is causing it. Because the mind, I'm sorry to say, but the mind, and I'm not sorry to say it, but the mind is very irrational. The things that it tells us like this, oh, it can pump information at us so quickly, it can throw answers and responses so quickly at us, but very rarely is it actually true. Because all those things that it throws at you, it's either from someone else, or the old you that is no longer here, that is no longer running this program. And believe you me, the old you will try to come back. It will try to seep through. It's like this gooey black substance that tries to seep through and find its way back into the now, right, into the present moment, and I remind you how good we had it then.
Right.
So it's our job to decide, was it really that good then, or is it good now?
Yeah, I was going to say Ramsey was giving a really great example right there of like how the old pattern will come up. It's like, hey, I'm right here. Hey. And then you're like, no, like this is a new pattern on this new program. Thank you, Ramsey, for that. That was amazing.
Yeah, he just loves to be petted all the time. And if I'm, like I was telling Bethany earlier, he's always in my chair every single day. If I like, whether I'm here or not, he's either in the chair or on me on the chair every single day. And then my husband, he goes, I haven't seen Ramses all day. Where is he? I'm like, he's probably sleeping on my chair. I go look, turn the light on, and all I see is his eyes just slowly opening and looking. How dare you, woman, wake me up from my slumber?
Right? He's all, what? I wasn't bugging anyone.
Yeah, well, he's getting of age, right? So we, the thought pops up. I don't want to say we worry about it because it's not something that's just repetitive, but once in a while it's like, wait a minute, where is he? We haven't seen him for a while. Or the other cat, right?
Yeah.
It's like a kid. You just get to make sure that they're all there, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I do that with Sugar. I'll be like, where's Sugar? And sometimes she'll be upstairs and I'm like, where did she go? And I'm like, oh, you're just upstairs. Okay, there you are. You're just relaxing.
I'm curious how many people that are watching do the same thing with their animals. It's like when you don't see your animal, your baby, for, I don't know, for maybe a couple of hours, all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I haven't seen them in forever, even though you probably just saw them 5 minutes ago. Right. But the thought comes up, it's like, oh my God, I haven't seen them in so long. Did anybody leave the door open? Did they escape? Did they, like, what happened? Are they still alive, especially if they're of that age? Right? It's like a kid when they get really quiet.
What do you do?
What are they doing? Because they're never quiet, right? Like if my son got really quiet right now, I would be like, okay, guys, like I need to know what's happening because he's never quiet.
Yeah, well, you want the clarity on what's going on to make sure he's safe, and he's not doing something that he, doesn't know that he should not be doing, or something, or, children are, and they like to test the boundaries.
Exactly. And everything is really about clarity. Everything that we want in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, you're trying to figure out what you want to do for the day, right? For your business or for yourself or for work. You're figuring out your to-dos, your list. What you're doing is you're pausing to gain clarity on something. That same thing, the same concept, the same way that you are getting clarity on your to-dos, you can use on yourself, on your feelings and emotions. Pick the one that is the most dominant one. You'll know which one it is because they'll come to you. And it could also be kind of like connected. So guilt and shame, they usually go together. Embarrassment and shame go together, right? Anxiety and guilt go together. And then another thing, today during meditation, I want to share this because during meditation, I get these awarenesses that I'm like, ooh, this is really good. Everything, that's the one that I got today, was everything is my fault. If I did something different, it would have, or it would have been a different outcome. This way, you keep power and control in your hands and not in somebody else, especially if you're blaming. This is where it came from, blaming other people. This is, all of us, we do this, right? And the more we catch ourselves doing it and change it, the less we do it. But we still do it, no matter how awesome we all are. We still do. We blame others. But the moment that it happens, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, I'm not giving my power away, no matter how much I love you. So I'm not going to blame you for what happened, because by blaming you, I'm not even going to learn anything. I just like, oh, it's your fault. Okay, that's it. I don't need to read this book. Right? Whereas by taking ownership of and saying, this is my fault. Okay, what can I learn from this? Go through, the clarity, the intuition, all of these cycles, and then go through the thoughts and emotions and experiences. List all that stuff out. Get it all out. And there was another one. This is the one. Anxiety is just simply a story you're telling yourself.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one.
Just a story that you're telling yourself. That's it. And it continues to exist because you continue to tell yourself those types of stories. But if you changed it to even just the wording of anxiety to excitement, which in the body is the same thing, right? This is like one of the very early things that I remember teaching you, Bethany, or sharing with you, and you're like, oh my God, that makes sense. I think I've heard that before. I know that, right? It just makes so much sense. So if we just simply change the language that I'm excited, and then followed by, even though it doesn't feel like excitement, and you can use your own, I like to use colorful language. Bethany knows this, so whenever I need to release, I will use like the very colorful language, but it's not actually that colorful, just the F word. Really, that's it. That's my colorful language.
Just so.
Yeah. So I like to ask myself when I feel anxious, what the fuck am I excited about? Right? Because this is where it's like, I'm anxious, but I know that's not what it is. I'm excited about something. So what am I fucking excited about? Just tell me, because I do not want to, like, I don't want to search for it. And then my mind tells me what I'm excited about, right? And it's the to-do lists, which is not the way that I am actually meant to function. And I know that, but that's the way that I clear my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's to-do lists or thoughts or ideas, I just need to get it out of my head. And I can pretty much guarantee that every person that is watching or listening to this is that same way. If you, right, you feel disconnected, what do? Get connected with the paper. Take pen, pencil, write it out, get everything from your head out. Some things, it would be completely irrational, like we were talking about the irrational mind. Right? But you need to get that out. That's why, like, if you can't afford a coach, if you can't afford a consultant or a mentor or a program, just journal. Just get everything out and keep journaling and asking yourself questions and allowing the answers to come through.
Definitely. Yeah, I want to say those hits that you had were amazing clarity statements too. I had another thing that happened to me this weekend, and coming into the last couple of days of this week, beginning of the week. So it's that today I had to refill my birth control. And Sunday, a couple days before that, I started to get really moody and just like, I'd be like really high, like, oh yeah, I'm great. And I'd get angry, or I'd be really like angry. And then I start crying. And I'm like, what is going on right now? And I just like, at first I was like, okay, well, maybe I just need a rest. And that was Sunday, me talking about like the old patterns, I need a rest. I need to really sponge, like absorb everything I've learned and take a pause, breathe, reflect day. And then it came to me, hey, your birth control isn't needing a refill. So right now you're feeling a little everywhere, disconnected, because your hormones are out of whack. Because for me, my birth control, like I started when I was young, and now birth control helps my hormone function, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And also, I'm not trying to go on that path yet, anyways, in life. But it brought me that clarity when I was like, okay, that's why I'm feeling this way, because my hormones are just like trying to regroup. We're losing this one hormone that was really helping us. And then of course my self-love, self-care practices and all my rituals and routines, those helped definitely. And they do help. And I was able to see how much they helped me. So I brought clarity to my routines and patterns, because I was able to be like, oh, okay, this really does help. And it also showed me what's not helping, that old pattern. But as soon as I was able to put the 2 and 2 together with the birth control and my hormones, it really brought that relief. Like, oh, okay, well, I just need to be patient with today. Today's Wednesday. So it's like Wednesday, that's my appointment. I'm going to get my refill. My hormones are going to balance out. But it also, like, I did it before. I took care of myself before it. I didn't allow the birth control to be that controlling factor where it was like, well, this is what's going to make me feel better. And that's the only thing. No, I went to all my tools, my medicines, and it helped me redefine. It helped me find my clarity with everything that I do as well.
Yeah. See, and that is, again, going back to check in with your body, because that's what you did. You checked in with your body, and your body said, woman, I am a hormone and out of whack, and all of the different hormones screaming at you, help. You're like, okay, I got you. Wednesday, chill the fuck out. Right? But it takes a minute to sit with yourself and uncover, where is this disconnect coming from? Because sometimes it is outside of ourselves, and most of the time it is us putting ourselves outside of our body, and oftentimes it is within our body that disconnect, right? But something external needs to take place or happen that has caused us to feel that way. The other thing I also wanted to add as I'm listening to you, Bethany, is because it just really just visualized myself coming home from being out there with different people, different energies, to cleanse that energy. Because the way that we might be feeling is another way to check in with your body, is what you're feeling right now. Is this actually yours, or is it somebody else's? Where is it coming from? Right? And also checking in, have you been actually been eating well, sleeping well? Is there a time change? Right? There's a lot of different pieces, but this is another thing that can be added. Check your energy if it's actually yours or somebody else's, because oftentimes it is not ours. So then what do we do? Well, you can sit with it and carry it, and it's not going to cleanse itself. It's just going to hang around until one way or another you cleanse it. And the cleansing, in the way, is a conscious process as well. And the conscious process that can be used is visualize, right? Shower, visualize the cleansing in the shower, bath, and being conscious of, I'm cleansing my energy, I'm cleansing my aura, I'm releasing others. Like Bethany, you like to say, back to sender, right? Send it back to sender, give it back to sender. um, sage, sage yourself, and meditation, right? Whatever your meditation means to you, because meditation is really just, it's an umbrella of mindfulness practice.
Definitely.
And there's so many in there. So even if for you it means going for a walk, laying in the snow, going in the rain, or standing in the sun and you're cleansing yourself, really, the sky is the limit, and even then there's no limit at the sky, right? Because past the sky there's other things out there. And just not okay, the oxygen might not be there, but there's other things there.
Right.
So, yeah, so I wanted to share that.
Yeah, that was really awesome. I'm glad you shared that. The thought came to mind, but then it kind of like left the station, so might not be for now. If it comes back, I'll let you know. But yeah, returned, that's what it was. So another like practice that I like to do is my water activation. And I know I share it in the group every day, but when I'm feeling that disconnect, a lot of the times just coming to my water and being like, oh yeah, like today in my water, it's gratitude, compassion, understanding, and courage. How can I embody these? And it helps cleanse me. And each day is different. So like you, when you said shower, that's what brought to mind my water activation, because it helps cleanse. And then also Reiki energy healing is something I like to practice. And oftentimes that's like, I put on music that someone else did Reiki energy blessings in, and then I'll walk around my house, or I hold it really close to myself and I get that energy healing. And I also practiced it myself, but yeah, so those are a couple more things, but everything you said, like, yes. I love it.
Well, the water activation, as you're drinking it, I'm just picturing different waterfall, cleansing from the inside, right? And visualizing. The other thing I remember, my grandma, she used to teach my mom and share that with me as well, how to keep yourself safe from other people's energies. And it's a visualization practice where you visualize yourself inside of a balloon, and nothing can get inside the balloon. You can also make it that it's like, I like to make it one of those like a reflective glass where you can see if you're inside it, but nobody can see from outside of it. So being in a balloon where nobody can see me from outside of the balloon, but I can see everyone and everything from inside, so I'm safe in there, right? Different colors, different shades, or just an aura you can visualize around yourself and cleanse that aura, right? Sometimes when I'm visualizing my aura, I can feel, I call it a feeling because I don't particularly always see, but I feel the energy. So it's like I see the energies that are not mine, like the darker spots, even some of them that are like sneaky. Let's say I'm visualizing the pink aura today, and in there's like hot pink in there. So it's like the same shade, but a little bit darker in there. And I get that out because I know it's not mine. So cleansing the aura yourself, right? You can even do it with your eyes closed or your eyes open and moving your hands, right? If that helps. But all of those things, how do they lead back to the clarity? Well, by you clearing your space, your energetic space, your energetic bubble, you instantly have clarity. And I've witnessed it, and I felt it myself, and I witnessed it in others as well, when they've done that energetic cleanse for themselves. And it doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. While we're having this conversation, sharing this, you probably already have done a cleanse, or one, or two, or three, or four, right?
Yeah.
Simply thinking about it, or maybe even picturing a pink aura with these dot spots. And by you just even thinking about it, you're already kind of doing it, right? So how does that feel? Like, how have you done that? I know you've done things like that.
Yeah.
What have you done and how did it feel for you, Bethany?
So for me is like what you mentioned before, like I like to imagine myself with like a protective cloak just all around me and like with an energy. So I'm like, I got my protective cloak on, and then I will say to myself or out loud, however it's feeling at the moment, what's mine is mine, what's theirs is theirs, return to sender. I release any kind of energetic drains, and I call back my energy to make room for more empowered, expanding, and growing energies and relationships. So it's expanded since the last time you've heard, but that helps me get into that space of being like, okay, what's mine? What's going on? Because I will often sometimes go to the stores and you pick up on something like you were saying, and you go home and you're like, what happened? Like, I was not feeling this way. And I learned that practice from you. And as soon as I learned that, I was really able to differentiate between the different energies. Like, okay, well, this is mine, or go back to my journal and be like, well, before I did that, this is how I felt. So I don't think that was mine then. And that protective cloak chant, as I like to call it, I do in the morning and I do at night. Or if I'm on social media, I will say it before and after. Or if I just feel like there's like this crazy, like, ugh, like dreaded energy that suddenly hit me, I do it then. I do whenever the feeling arises. And I notice it's like how you said, it's like you're getting your clear feedback, and then you're releasing. And then with that release, you're letting go and you're surrendering, and you're allowing all like the good energies to flow back in and to have more of a forefront than a background.
Yeah. And it's important to also give yourself the time to recover through that.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Right? And patience is huge. Yeah. Time and patience.
You're giving yourself the time and the patience. Take away the guilt and shame and embarrassment and the shoulds out of your thoughts, because they are not serving you now. They never have, and they never will, because those are the thoughts that are very catabolic in nature. So they eat at us. So those people, and I hear this from people sometimes too, that no, it works. I tell myself I should be doing this, I should be doing that all the time, and that is my motivation. It helps me to get things done. But my response to that is, how great do you feel when the shits come up? That's so great, but that's what gets me moving, gets me going. Is there another way that you can potentially actually have even more power and energy in going and attacking what it is that you're after? Right? What are the thoughts? How are you feeling then? Well, I feel like I'm in the zone. I'm in the mood. Okay, well, you can't go from the shoulds to being in the zone. Like, those two are the opposite, because one is catabolic, one is anabolic. So if you're telling me that you have more power, more creativity, more energy, you get more done when you feel great. So, and yet you're here telling me that your shoulds working for you? Are they really? Are they really working?
Or are you just telling yourself that just to kind of put a Band-Aid on it, a mask? Like, oh, this is how, like, that brings up my old patterns of eating. I kept masking it and putting, oh, no, that's not what's going on. And then when I sat down and like looked at my signs and symptoms and circled stuff, and I was just like, oh, okay, I see now. I see it. Okay, thank you. And then I was able to change it. And now with the 2 weeks, I just feel like on top of the world, vibrant, optimistic, focused. And it's like that, those real feelings, instead of like me masking it and being like, oh, like, yeah, this is how I feel. But down deep, it's like, no, like, you know, because like I would feel those ways before, but I would have to do my self-love, self-care to be able to achieve that. And constantly doing like self-care and self-love, yeah, you can do it little ways, but it's going to eat up a lot of your time. So if you can just feel that way from the get and just use the self-care and self-love as more tools and medicines for when they pop up, it's a lot healthier than what I was doing. It's just complete masking everything, mask, and ignoring, repressing, to where here I am now, and I just like feel so like a whole 180, a whole difference on it.
And I'm going to take this opportunity and remind everyone that I'm going to try to say it in a nice way, but there is no nice way of saying it, is we as human beings, we're never going to be 100% happy and joyful all the fucking time. It just does not exist. There's always going to be things that you are going to be dealing with. There's always going to be problems. But here's the thing. If you deal with the problems that come up, you'll never have to deal with those problems again because you've dealt with them. You'll just have new, better, and improved problems, right? And at the end of the day, the choice is up to you how you want to live your life. Do you want to continue living the way that you are? Or do you want to change? Do you want to have something better? And another way to look at it is 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? If you're still seeing yourself where you are, then continue doing what you're already doing. Don't change anything, stay the same. Absolutely fine. Most people choose that and they are living great lives. But if you want to change, and that's where you see from 5 years from now, you're not where you are. You are maybe here, right? We often overestimate how much we can do in a short amount of time, and we underestimate how much we can do in a long period of time. I'm talking about 5 years, 10 years, right? And it's a normal human condition to underestimate and overestimate, right? Even when we're buying furniture, let's say used furniture, it's like, this is gonna fit in my truck or not? Right? Estimating and sometimes underestimating. Like this unit here, I was like, it's gonna fit in my truck, no problem. And then I get there, I'm like, ooh, it is quite big.
Right, I've been there.
But either one you choose, you're going to be dealing with tough times and hard times. But the only difference is that with one option, by staying the same, the hard times will never end. It will always be painful. It will always be a struggle. It will always feel like suffering. It will always feel painful. It'll always feel uncomfortable. But with you going on this side and continue to pursue change, pursue growth, and pursue self-development and self-mastery, because really those are two options. You stay the same, nothing changes, or you pursue self-mastery. And whatever that self-mastery means to you, because there's different avenues you can go in there. And what's going to happen with this one is that eventually the hard things will become easy. And eventually the fear will subside and the fear will be replaced, fear and anxiety, they will be replaced with excitement, where you will now be doing the same things that you were petrified of doing before, that you never even thought you could possibly even do, to now doing them. And you're feeling great, you're feeling motivated and confident, and you experience happiness and joy. And guess what? You're still gonna have shitty times. Yeah. You're just gonna have a lot less of them, and they won't last as long. The duration of one will be less. So thinking about it like a cold, your colds won't be as long, right?
Or they're more, in other ways, like it's more bearable, I guess, in a way, because you know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know that this shall pass. You know, like it's not going to be there forever, because you have your certain patterns that help you get out of it, your tools and your medicines to help push you through. And for that, an example for me is doing my live yoga videos. I was scared to do that. It took me a long time. And then when I finally did, I'm going on like 6 months of doing it every week. And I love doing it. Now I'm adding like last week I did an extra live video. Last Thursday, I did a different one where I show people my cacao and gratitude ceremony that I do. And I've always wanted to do that. And I did it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. Yes. Yeah. So like when you that's just like an example for everyone that's kind of feeling like, well, I don't know, that's on the fence with it. That's do what makes you feel uncomfortable, because when you get out of that comfort zone, sky is not, it's not the limit, because there's more to sky, like you were saying. But like it's limitless. There is just got more and more and more. And like you're saying, with how you're feeling, those feelings that you are looking for are a lot, they like ride out longer than the negative ones when you practice.
Yeah. And you go from, waking up in the morning and feeling crappy, and like those are the two versions, right? That I will continue to refer to, where one, everything stays the same, and one, you're pursuing self-mastery. Where this one, the one you stay the same, you wake up in the morning, you feel like crap, and your day turns out to be crap as well. Whereas with self-mastery, you wake up in the morning, you feel like crap, and you realize, ooh, is this the channel I want to be on today? Which means, is this who I want to be? Is this who I'm striving to be? Because if I keep going to the old channel, I'm gonna revert back to the old self. And it's very easy to do, and it happens to all of us in a very in a way that you don't even recognize that you're back there. It just happens so smoothly and so natural, like a smooth criminal gets in there and turns you back, and you're like in the same patterns and the same habits. And it's like, wait a minute, no. The moment you recognize that you've switched the channel, change the channel. That's what self-mastery is about. You continuing to change to the channel that you actually want. Now, let me draw a visualization of what I'm actually talking about with the channel, now that I've given you a preview of yourself as the channel. So you walk into because I was telling Bethany this yesterday. Yeah, like, remind me tomorrow to do this. So I remembered. Good job, Yana. So you walk into your living room, okay? And you take the remote. I'm going to use a remote for my life, not a TV, but right. You turn the TV on. The TV turns on, right? And we're going to use the example of you waking up in the morning. So you wake up in the morning, you turn on the TV, you're up, you're awake. Now, what channel do you want to watch? Okay, I want to watch 110, right? I push the buttons, 110 comes on. It's not going to turn to any other channel. It's not going to go to 99. It's not going to go to 500. It's only going to go to 111 or 110, right? Because I asked the little robots that are in this remote and in the TV, that are communicating with one another, sending the frequencies and saying, this is the channel that Yana wants to watch. So let's turn it on and keep it on until she's done. She'll let us know when she wants to change the channel. You wake up in the morning. What channel are you tuning into? I'm anxious and I'm stressed. Because guess what happens? Then the little soldiers, the little robots that are in that remote, that is you, and the TV, that is, the world that you're seeing around you, is going to say, okay, Yana is tuning into anxious and stressed. So let's make sure that that is what she gets to experience and see throughout the whole entire day until she changes the channel. Now, if you wake up in the morning and you recognize that this channel is turned on, and you're like, fuck this shit, I don't want to do that again. I want this one. And you turn it to 111, right? 31s. I like repetitive numbers. So you turn it to 111. Guess what's going to happen? You are going to experience that channel, whatever is in that channel. So which means that I'm on top of the world, I'm a fucking rock star, or whatever it is that you want to call yourself that morning. Then the little soldiers, the little robots in this remote, and the remote that is you, are going to say, okay, guys, everyone, Yana said she feels incredible today. She's great. She is a superstar. So let's make sure that everything on the channel assures her of that. And that is her experience.
I love that. I love that example. It's a beautiful analogy because it's so like everyone can understand what a remote is and changing the channel. And yeah, I just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
You're
And it just
welcome.
takes the realization that we ourselves are a channel. Our thoughts are channels, right?
Mhm.
And if you don't like what you're hearing, then change it. And I know it's not going to be that easy, and it's just going to naturally happen on its own right away. It's not, but eventually it will. Eventually it becomes just a natural process. You know, not everyone is born to be extremely optimistic. It is
Right.
also something that they learn, right? Not everybody is born to be extremely pessimistic. That is also learned. Not everyone is born to be angry or sad or depressed or violent, right? Not everybody's born that way, but it is learned. It is a program that they that they received throughout their life experiences. It is full of habits. It is full of patterns that need to be recognized. And recognition today means clarity. You got to get clear on what are these patterns that you keep replaying and experiencing that you no longer want, that are no longer serving you. And most people, and that is the way that it works for most people, I was one of those people, is that in order for us to change and to do something, we need to hit rock bottom. We need to feel so horribly bad that we can no longer exist this way, that this is there's like something needs to change, and it needs to feel so horribly bad, and only then we change. For other people, they need to have a disease and get sick, which is actually, I know some people might not like to hear it, but before you fight me, go listen to Joe Dispenza and listen to him. But all disease is self-created. Everything is self-created. And here's another really, like, I want you to really think about it. If laughter is contagious, sadness is contagious, is disease contagious? It is. Because if you spend time with losers, loser is a disease in a way as well, right? And what I mean by losers, I am one sometimes too, is those people that just don't want to do anything. They're okay with just chilling and relaxing, whether it's all day or every day or the whole entire life. For me, it's just days where I'm like, I'm gonna be a loser today. I'm gonna do nothing, right? That's my definition of a loser, and just not doing anything and not caring about anything. And it's really nice to do it once in a while.
Well,
It's
it's
like,
good to do that. Yeah. Like for me, losers like those energy vampires, those people that like suck, that drain your energy and like they come to you only for their problems. But when you want to reach out, it's like they're nowhere to be seen. Like it's a one-sided relationship.
yeah,
Um, yeah, because I know you say like, oh, I just want to do nothing, and that's your definition of a loser. And I'm like, man, but that's good to do nothing once in a while. It's good to have the being time. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, like there's no motivation. There's just like, this is life. I'm gonna live this life, like type thing. Like,
yeah. But I also mean, like, I'm not gonna be cooking. I'm not gonna be cleaning. My house is, because with kids it turns to a mess like this, because my husband, like, why is the house dirty? We live here,
right, we're living.
right? But most of the time it's clean, but the times that it's dirty, and this is for those of you that do question your partner, why is the house a mess? I want you to pay attention and see if they are keeping your house clean and tidy, and then one day or 2 days or a week that they're not, they're going through something. There's a reason why. So instead of you asking, like the question is not a wrong question. It's just you're using the wrong words in the question. Not why is the house a mess, but maybe why are you a mess? That's a rude question, right? Don't ask that, don't say that. But you get the concept, right?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
are you okay? How can I help? Right?
You need a hug. Like sometimes
Right?
you need that love. Be like, come here. And that's something that like I noticed when I had this moment. I told Brian about these patterns with the old eating and the new eating. And I noticed that so in the past, and not so much anymore because I'm healing through it, I would always look to my parents and for their approval. I would always like, I'd be scared of what they think. And especially on the journey that I'm now, I was like, it's very different from theirs. And I had a video chat with my parents on Thursday. And I noticed as soon as it was about to be time, I was eating. And Brian noticed it. And he was like, are you okay? Like you're eating. And at first I'm like, what do you mean I'm eating? Like I got all offended. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a pattern here. There's something that's coming up and I'm going to my food. I'm going to binge. And he helped me. He came and gave me a hug. And at first I'm like, that's not what I need. Like, no, like, what are you saying? I'm eating, But then I was like, oh my gosh, like he picked up on my pattern. And then it made me realize too, like, I don't need to care what my parents think. My parents are going to love me no matter what. And their life is different from my life. And I'm going to continue on with what makes my heart have joy and what helps my heart sing and like follow my intuition and my true authentic self. So that was another pattern thing with my binge eating that I forgot to mention that came up. And it was like that approval. And it's like, I can give myself approval. I got this. Yeah. So that was interesting. And that was something else I was working through, but it was what I was needing. I was just needing a little love. Be like, it's okay. And then to have me check in and be like, oh, there's something deeper here. There is something deeper here. And to realize the deepness, it was a realization and amazing. And it really helped with my new pattern as well.
Yeah. So what you just said really got me thinking of this, because what you just shared is Brian helping you to recognize a pattern. And yeah, the ego jumped up in there. It's like, oh, how dare you? But then it's like, okay, well, thank you for helping me recognize the pattern. Now I see and what is contributing to it. So here are the two things that I would like people that are watching and listening to do. Is number one, write down the question and then the answer. Whose approval are you waiting or looking for? And write down that person's name or people's names, because sometimes it's more than just one person. But usually it is one specific person that you have somehow, for some reason, put on the pedestal. And I want you to take them off that pedestal. Okay? Because they're not better than you, they are an equal. Even those people that are doing better and are better than you, they're still not better than you, they're still unequal. They're just on a different journey, different life, different experiences. Now, the second thing is this. Now in my mind, I'm like, this should be in the lesson, Yana. Don't give it out for free, but here you go. I want you to recognize that pattern, right? That is coming up that you want to deal with. Get clear on what it is. Now, write down a letter to yourself that is going to remind you of this pattern and put all the guilt and shame in there, all your thoughts, everything that is going to help you, that if you read this letter the next time it happens, that you're really going to remember everything that's in there. Now, the next thing I actually want you to do is give that letter to somebody else who's going to help you with those patterns, who has been helping you. And whenever that comes up, get them to read it to you. It will take one time for them to read that letter. Also, they'll get to understand you quite a bit, first and foremost. So there's a benefit in it that way. And secondly, is by you hearing it from that person, especially if that person is the one that you look up to, the one that's on the pedestal, you're going to remember it. And that pattern might just end up being broken after that one time, where it is such an intense experience because you are involving somebody else in this, and you're taking responsibility and ownership through your own words, and you're being reminded of that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did with Brian, my husband. I told him about what I was working through, and then he saw that pattern, and he was able to be like, "Hey, well, here's this." And at first, my ego was like, "Whoa, no one else talks about your stuff but you. Like, why is he bringing it up?"
That's the reason why. If you give a letter,
yeah, but
it's you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, the letter would have, and that time would have been really great, but just with what the work we did do and him coming to me and be giving me a hug, that was what I was needing at the time. But the letter is, I love that too, because it's like coming from you, and it's like, oh, that's not coming from anyone else but myself. Like, it's that reality check. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, you already have the tools that help you to work through it on your own. Most people don't have the tools. And even those people that have the tools, it's still easier to hear something from an individual that is in your own words, that you're saying it to yourself, you're just using their voice to say it. And in a way, you're also teaching them how to say things to you in the way that you actually hear, because we hear what we say better than what other people say, because what other people say, we're really turning it around and making it our own. Right? We're translating it, we're making our own assumptions, we're making our own interpretations in there. It's gonna be next month.
I was gonna say spoiler alert.
Right, exactly, spoiler alert. But so for today, I feel like this is going to be more than enough information. With those that got to watch until the end, got this beautiful tool. And it's very powerful, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. So I want to actually share something from my book, and then Bethany's going to share her quote that she, poem that she wrote. So this one here is something that I pulled this morning. I'm like, oh God, I know. It always tells me everything I need to hear. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you speak to me that way? I know. But the I know is something that I'm also catching and saying, okay, I don't know. So take the I know out of your vocabulary and go in as a child would, curious, not knowing anything. And that is how you get to learn new things. So I didn't know, and I read this and I got to learn a few things. So today told me, doing is work, being is effortless. Most people do what they love, that is in between what they feel they have to do. If you feel that you are working, then you are doing and not being. Being is effortless. And because our energy is focused and concentrated, greater results occur with much less effort. It is important to remember that as soon as you put on a hat to do a certain role, you've disconnected from being. In other words, the result of whatever it is that you are doing will be a much greater result if you are being and not just doing. Like if you're in it and you're in the zone and not doing it from a place of I have to, I need to, I must, I should, right? Those are heavy words. I refer to them as catabolic. And then the last quote on here is hard work. Well, that's all right for people who don't know about anything else. and that's by Dan Roth. I've never heard that name, but that is what we have for you guys for today.
That is wonderful. That really goes along the lines of today's topic as well, because like when you have to get clarity, you got to have your balance of doing and being as well. Definitely. And that's something I'm continuing, like, because I'm big on like doing, and then the being side, it's like I be, but not as much as I want. So this last moon cycle, that's something I've really been focusing on, is like, being like, yes, we can do, I know I do it, doing my stuff, but I also want to be. So my poem, I wrote it today, so you guys are getting a little sneak peek on what's going to be next Wednesday for the poem. So intuition, you are my compass and guide. Awareness, you may help me go with you. Let me start over. I added a word in. Rewind. Intuition, you are my compass and guide. Awareness, you help me go within and pay attention so clarity becomes a reality. One step at a time on this journey, letting your heart help lead you. Believe in yourself and trust the process. You got this.
Life is a journey, and let the heart lead you on this path through intuition, guidance, clarity, wisdom, and create your own meaning of success.
Yeah.
What I got from them.
Nice.
Because, at the end of our life, we all want to feel successful at what we've done. We want to feel fulfilled. And too often we're looking at something that is ahead of ours. And therefore, we never actually get to fully experience that. Instead of looking ahead as if you don't have that thing, why not look in the now and know that you already have it just in your thoughts alone? And for most people, that's not enough, because it's like, I know for me with the smog, I had to wait for the smog for about a month, right? And I had it in my mind as if I already had it here, right? And when I had it here, I still did not use it until I was ready to use it, until I felt like it was more solid, right? So even though it was here as well for a couple of days before I started using it, it was in my mind. It was not a physical object. It was, I'm going to call it a digital object, because it's digital in my mind. It's code. And then that code is now printed and is right here in front of me. And the same goes with our goals and dreams that we want to achieve, that we don't have to look at them and wait for them to be here in a physical form, that they can be with us in the digital form, in the form of code in our mind, which is actually what all that matters at the end of our life, really. Because at the end of our life, we do not get to take anything physical with us. We get to take everything that is digital with us. And digital meaning everything that is code, that is everything that is a program in our mind. So therefore, all the money you're collecting, all the gold you're collecting, all the all my crystals and stones, all these things that I'm collecting, I don't get to take any of that with me unless it is in the digital form. I know a lot of like younger kids will get exactly what I'm talking about. For me, it's coming from a place of kids playing their games and buying money in their game, which is digital code, which is digital money, but you're taking this money and you're using it on something else, on something digital that you never get to have here in the physical. It's like you're dressing up your Barbie and Ken that's on the screen, but you never actually get to have it here in the physical form, right? And they're okay with it. So that's why kids, they understand these concepts like that's normal. You guys don't think that way? Because we think this way, right? Whereas my generation, we gotta explain the matrix.
Right.
But that is also how we create and bring things into existence, whether you call it creation, whether you call it manifestation. there's these words, I'm trying to figure out the difference between them, and in a much like deeper levels. But for now, this is where they are. You really just make something new in the physical form if you so choose, but the digital form is just as good. And another way to use it is, this digital form is vacations. You can go digital on vacations without having to ever pay for the ticket, go on the flight. That most people are terrified of flying because it's an airplane. We'll just leave it there without inducing anyone's fears. But you know what I mean? It's like, instead of you going to do all these things, which are actually also great as well. These are great experiences. You can do that on your mind. And those that are fearing flying, visualization has been extremely healing for those people. Just visualizing yourself being safe on the plane and having fun and enjoying yourself. You're practicing. That's what visualization is you're practicing for what's about to come.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it.
That's it. So that's the whole little spiel wrap up for for today's clarity in the end there. So share with us, please, what is it that you have been either working on getting clear or have just became clear on, whatever stage you're in, right? Yeah, let us know, share with us. We shared with you the things that we have gotten clarity on, continue to get clarity on, those are, and some of the things that we have clarity on, and then it comes back and back and back and continue to get more clarity on, so that way, whatever it is, like binge eating as an example, that the more clarity you get, the closer you are to getting that out of your programming and allowing the new program in.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, that's what I've been doing the last like 12 days. It's been so transformative. A lot of rest, and there's been a little pain there, but it's okay. The pain subsided, and coming on Wednesday now, and I feel like, woo, yeah, let's do this.
Top of the world.
Yeah, but as things pop up, it changes, but as long as we go within and we have our tools and our medicines, I feel like anything's possible. So
yeah, and definitely help and support as well, that I would add on there. We really, nobody achieves anything alone. As much as people like to say that they did something on their own, you cannot do anything on your own. That means that you have absolutely no communication with anyone whatsoever aside from just yourself. And you're not watching anything, you're not talking to anyone, you are literally just doing it on your own, whatever it is, which means that there's no ideas coming in. So that's why I can never ever take credit for anything I do, and especially for these amazing podcasts, because Bethany, you bring so much to every Wednesday. And most importantly, you bring yourself and your experiences and your journeys that most people are petrified of even mentioning to their friends. Like, if the binge eating alone, that is something that most people, because it's an addiction and people do not like to talk about their addictions. They don't, because it causes them to feel guilt and shame and embarrassment and fear of the judgment that the other person might put on them.
Yeah. And today is the first time I've mentioned it on, I mentioned it in my live yoga today and then on here, but I've not mentioned it before, really, that it was
you might have in one of our previous videos.
Maybe.
This month.
Oh, that's true. Well, that's not, because I was talking about it with awareness, but this month has been the first time. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and really telling everyone that deep rooted pattern, because we all have them. But I just want to say thank you. I love our calls each week. They're always so growing and transformative, and we feed off of each other, and we just help strengthen and motivate each other. And it's a beautiful thing. And I love everything that you come with, because it's like, you know, I have my certain stuff, and then you come with like the icing on the cake, or you have the cake and I bring the icing to the cake, you know, and it's like a give and take, like we give and receive. And I just love that dynamic that we have together. So I enjoy this. And I want to thank all the viewers. Thank you for supporting us.
Cherry on top.
Yeah. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate you all. We're so grateful for you all. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I want to say thank you to everyone that continues to support us, continues to support us in the way that you're able to, whether you're just watching, whether you're commenting, responding, or both, or reaching out to us and having a conversation. Your support means the world to us, because that is really what keeps us going and wanting to do more and more and more and more. And that is the reason why we give you the information that you know, like, oh, should be packaged up and sold, but it's needed. And the way that most people will consume free information, they won't pay for information. So if I can give the same information that I would charge people for free, and those are the people that spend the time and watch an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hour long video, then you deserve that information. You've paid your dues. Right?
Yeah. Energy exchange. You're coming on, paying attention, you know, being interactive, maybe not on screen, or, you know, like in comments, maybe you're journaling the stuff or whatever, but it's beautiful.
That's it. So thank you, everybody, once again. Continue to learn, ingest, digest what you learn, and then apply. Application is the most important part of it. You want to grow, like moving towards self-mastery, it ain't going to happen without any action. Action is one of the key ingredients.
Yep, and action gives you clarity.
It does, because you sitting still, you're not going to get clear, right? If you want to, that's why movement, the change in your physiology is very important for clarity. Very important. And then also using other people outside of you that can help you to get more clarity, but those people that you feel safe with. I want to make that very clear. Don't just go to everyone. You need to make sure that the person that you are opening up to has your best interest in mind and at heart, and is gentle when it comes to helping you to learn a lesson that you, or to see the pattern that you're not seeing yet, right? So yes, but it's important to have those people, let's call them soundboards, right? Everybody needs a soundboard in our life, where you say something and then they sound back at you and let you know what they've heard, right? So, and you can have more than one person like that in your life, but just find at least one and then go with it. That is all for today. See, same binary, more and more and more nuggets in there.
Yeah, little golden nuggets that we're sprinkling throughout the end. You got to listen to the thing to get to the gold nuggets.
Exactly. And if you like what you see and what you hear, and chances are you do, that's why you're still here, please share it. Honestly, I'm just going to ask you to share it with your tribe, with whatever platform that you are on, because we're here now focusing on growth, which means that we want more people in our group. We want more people live on our podcast engaging with us. We want all of that, not just for ourselves, but for those that need this information. So please share this video on your favorite platform where you just love, right? And you share content in there, guaranteed. And if not, maybe this will be the first thing you share. And then this is when people look, oh, she or he has something to say. So let's see what that is. So do us a favor and those people that will come across it, because without your help, we can only reach so many people ourselves, right? But with your help, we can reach many more people and share this valuable information that we have been collecting and gathering over our lifetime.
Yeah.
So let's put both of our ages together and round it off and say over 60 years of knowledge here. Right? Probably closer to like 70 years of knowledge, really, but
Yeah, that's okay.
we'll just leave the number there. You guys can watch all the other videos that we've done, but we did share our age, so they're going to hunt. Like finding it.
Right.
Oh, you gotta be so committed to watch all the videos, or no matter how long they are, to actually hear it. Or you can just reach out and ask me, right?
Yeah.
Another option. So thank you for watching, listening, commenting, engaging, and most importantly, sharing it with your people, with your tribe, right? With your followers. And until next time,
Yeah.
when we'll be talking about wisdom, and
Yeah.
the title around wisdom will be coming really, really soon. So keep your eyes and ears open on the socials, because you'll get to know what it's going to be about. And until next Wednesday, bye everybody. Bye, Bethany.